Hi and welcome to the Roast Recap, a look back on the week that was. It was a week that began with Liberal leadership speculation and ended with Tony Abbott leaving the country. Were the two connected? No, of course not. We don't expel ex-Prime Ministers from the mainland. Now, if you're like Roast Rangatang, the Roast's red-headed runner orangutan, who can't see her television because she threw feces at it, then you probably didn't catch all of this week's shows. Thankfully, we have put together a selection of this week's stories, starting with Mark Humphries and some of the headlines.
Dad of Australia, Tony Abbott, visited Indonesia today. No, he wasn't trying to score an interview with Chappelle Corby. He was there to meet the Indonesian president, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. Abbott's visit only lasted 6 hours, spending around 3 with the president, seen here during his online dating days. And the remaining time must have been spent squeezing in typical Bali tourist stuff. Abbott is keen to mend relations with Indonesia following revelations that Australia had tried to spy on Yudhoyono's phone calls. Abbott is bound to be sympathetic. He hates people listening to his phone calls. A statement from the Indonesian presidential palace says they're hopeful a bilateral relationship can once again be optimised where both countries can rebuild trust and confidence. But after all that's happened, it's going to take some work to build up that trust again. OK, you two, let's build some trust. Abbott, you turn around, fall backwards, and Bambang will catch you. All right? Go. Tony, you meant to fall towards Bambang. It's a process. Indonesia is an important part of Abbott's foreign policy, as he showed last year with his nuanced slogan, More Jakarta, Less Geneva. An illuminating insight from Abbott, right up there with the time he described the Syrian conflict as baddies versus baddies. Both slogans were the work of Abbott's chief foreign policy advisor, Little Rudy.
Bang, bang.
I'm eagerly awaiting Abbott's next slogan, that Australia's defence policy should be less karate and more crazy. The relationship is important for the two countries, as Indonesia imports millions of dollars worth of Australian douchebags each year. Thieves have stolen $15,000 worth of Lego from a toy store in Victoria. Meanwhile, stocks of Duplo remain unaffected. No one has been charged, but it's understood police are keen to speak with this man. And if you have any information about the theft, please contact the relevant authorities. Consumers are being warned about a scam involving unsolicited phone calls from people posing as Virgin and Qantas staff. The giveaway is the idea that there's anyone left working for Qantas. People are receiving automated phone calls from fraudsters with a message saying they have won a prize, with most being told they have won $995, or the average cost of a one-way Qantas flight from Sydney to Melbourne. Thank you, thank you. Their prices are expensive, thank you. For the roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Yeah, Qantas flights are expensive, but that is because, unlike other airlines, you arrive at an airport vaguely near the city of your intended destination. Also this week, on the eve of Tony Abbott's visit to the United States, Barack Obama launched a new policy to cut carbon emissions from power plants by 30%. Australia, on the other hand, is committed to a 100% cut of the carbon tax, and the Roast's Nick Richardson spent a crafternoon reflecting on the issue.
Tom, it's going to be more awkward than a high school reunion where you talk to someone who spent the last 10 years working in an orphanage in Thailand while you've done nothing but contract all the STIs and work on your De Niro impression. Say hello to my little friend.
Oh yeah, that's not De Niro, that's a bad Pacino at best.
10 years wasted.
But Nick, Obama and Abbott are world leaders. I mean, surely they'll have some common ground.
Well, I guess they will be standing next to each other, so that ground will be in common, but that's about it. I've drawn this little animation to show you why.
Do you have actual work to do?
Quiet. Mr. Abbott, I just cut energy emissions by 30%. Well, Mr. Obama, I can beat that. I just cut environmental science by 100%. Well, I'm making health insurance more affordable. Bold move, Obama-rama. I'm going the other way. Get the hell out of my house. I gotta find somewhere a little friendlier. And I'm not much of a fan of the gays either, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Oh, also, I'm in the process of getting rid of the carbon tax. Wow, you're even more conservative than us. Teach me how to be you. Well, first up, guns. Why do you have so many guns? You don't need guns. Get the fucks out of here. Ooh, I gotta find somewhere a little friendlier. How was your trip, Tones? They were so mean to me, Andy. It's good to be home. Shh, shh. You're safe now. The end.
Okay, so you don't think that Tony Abbott's trip to America is going to go that well for us?
It won't go well for him, Tom. For us, it's fantastic. If America reduces its carbon emissions, then we don't have to. We can just keep burning the same amount of coal we already do, and the Earth will stay pretty much the same.
Well, sure, if by the same you mean on the path to catastrophic global warming.
Oh yeah!
Still Pacino.
Oh no!
And speaking of Tony Abbott's Conservative crawl space, on the Dolt Report, Andrew Bolt engaged in a war of words with Communications Minister Malcolm Turnbull this week, accusing him of vying for the Prime Ministership. The smell of spill was in the air like air blood, and it seemed no matter what Turnbull said, Bolt used it to prove his point that Turnbull wanted one. A technique put to good use on the Dolt Report.
I'm Andrew Dolt, and this is the Dolt Report. My guest today is a minister in my best friend Tony's government, but is he the minister for the loony left? Welcome, Mr. Malcolm Turncoat.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Dolt.
Now, why are you talking to Clive Palmer during these tense budget negotiations?
Well, I'm trying to get a budget through the Senate, and soon Palmer will hold the balance of power.
I completely agree. But why are you destabilising my best friend's government?
I'm not.
Why are you denying my allegation? Do you want this story to gain momentum?
Well, it's not true, and you're bordering on the demented. It's
That
unhinged.
is completely overblown. If you really wanted this story to die, you would have said nothing.
Well, then I won't say anything else.
Your silence is as good as a confession.
I'm just saying...
I would let you continue, but that would impede on my freedom of speech. And we're out of time. Coming up, Loony Left, ABC Loony Left, ABC Loony Left, and later on, I use some graph I found in the comments section of my blog to prove that climate change is rubbish. And join me next week where I'll be showing 5 seconds of out-of-context YouTube footage that proves the ABC is full of Australia-hating communists.
How did he find out? And we're going to soon find out how good Bolt's researchers are by whether or not that ends up on the Dolt Report this Sunday. I lie, I'm not going to know how good Bolt's researchers are because I don't watch that piece of shit show. To Victorian Politics now, which have been so dramatic, they are going to need an epic movie trilogy just to explain what's going on.
It began with the forging of the Great Parliament. 43 seats to Labour and 44 gifted to the Liberals, who above all else desire power. For within those seats was bound the will to govern the state of Victoria. But they were all of them deceived, for deep in the lands of Frankston, in the gateway to the Mornington Peninsula, a powerful seat was forged to control all others. One Jeff Shaw to rule them all. In the hands of Ted Baillieu, it gave the Premier the power to control Parliament. But the Shaw has a will of its own. It betrayed Baillieu to his death. The Shaw then came to the creature Dennis Napthine, but perceiving its time had come, it abandoned Napthine. Labour saw the power of the Shaw and moved to destroy it. But the leader of the opposition knew that if he wooed the Shaw, the Victorian government would topple. A fellowship was formed to destroy the power of the Shaw.
I'd urge all members of Parliament, Liberal and National, to join with Labor in dealing with Mr Shaw once and for all.
But the hearts of men are easily corrupted.
No, I can't rule out that we would not move at any time a motion of no confidence in the government.
For the time will soon come when independence will shape the fortunes of all.
You know, I hear if you put your finger in Jeff Shaw, you turn invisible. But putting your finger into Jeff Shaw isn't the worst thing you could do, as Clive Palmer found out this week when he made a comment about Tony Abbott's Chief of Staff, Peter Credlin, during a speech to Parliament. And while there was no doubt Clive's comment was insensitive, many people were left asking...
Is it sexist?
Hello and welcome to Is It Sexist, the game show that should have been cancelled 100 years ago. Our top prize tonight is the Is It Sexist board game by Crown & Andrews and a sought-after job in a male-dominated industry. Tonight's runner-up will receive this delicious pumpkin pie baked by our resident housewife and this pane of unbreakable ceiling-grade glass. Sorry, this is my first day. I used to work on the footy show. Moving on, and to our first round, politics. Start the clock. First up, Clive Palmer.
Why should Australian citizens and businesses be taxed and working women discriminated against just so the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff can receive a massive benefit when she gets pregnant?
So, contestants, is it sexist?
Yeah, it's complicated, okay? Because on the one hand, he did make a good point about the inbuilt inequalities in the paid parental leave scheme, but on the other hand, he unnecessarily targeted a woman on the issue of children and career. So I'm going to say it's a grey area, but it's on the sexism spectrum, yeah.
It is? Yeah, I mean, that's what I did too. Yeah. Okay, next clip.
She's the top enchilada. Huh? She's the top dog, I should say. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Is it sexist?
That she's an enchilada? Because, I mean, if she's going to be an enchilada, I guess it's a good thing that she's the top enchilada. Plus, being top dog, it's kind of a gender-neutral expression, so I'm going to say no.
Watch out, Alex. It looks like Cara is becoming the top enchilada on this game show. Moving on, and to Barnaby Joyce on the project discussing Clive's comments.
Who is wearing the pants in the PM's office? Is it Abbott or is it Peter Credlin?
Yeah, that's definitely sexist. What, because only one person in a working relationship can wear the pants? I mean, is there some kind of pants famine that I'm unaware of? And what do pants translate to power and authority anyway?
Thought-provoking questions there, Alex, but that wasn't the part of the interview we meant to show, but 5 bonus points to you. Let's roll the rest of the clip.
I'm on good information from my husband. She's definitely a woman.
Sorry, Barney, what did you mean by...
Oh, God, what's he even saying? That he had to ask her husband if she had lady parts? Gross.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes. And last question here on Is It Sexist? Tony Abbott. And our time's up. And the winner is Alex. Yeah. And the job you've won in a male-dominated industry is... mine. Shit.
Don't worry, Clark soon found another job hosting whatever show Grant Denyer has just walked away from. I'm going to say Who Wants to Be $1 Million or something. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Have a great weekend, and if you're a politician, please do something stupid because public holidays are extra hard when there's slow news days. Good night.